focused, helping them, trying to save them. And so it actually becomes just a blur, and they can focus and do things that are horrible, but to the eyes and to the nose and to the psyche. But it's good in the final equation because you're helping someone. All right, I'm starting to preach here, and I've just got so much news I want to get to. Here's what I want to do. I want to open the phones up about all the things happening in the world, the Iranians threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, which is a provocation. They're looking for the middle way. They're allowing the West to bomb them, blow stuff up, destabilize them, put sanctions on them to shut them down. China has said they'll come to their aid. China has said prepare for war with the United States. That's back in the news. Their president has said that, not just some general, because it's cutting off their oil, but that's a double game. They'll probably abandon them in the final equation. Iran thinks that it can just threaten to block the strait or do it if the covert bombings continue, and the West is just going to hype that up. The West may even attack them because they're not giving the spy plane back. If Iran fires back when the West bombs them in a major air assault, it will be called terrorism to fire back. Again, it's bad when other governments torture, good when ours does it. It's all part of this mentally ill, soft-brained craziness of all the good old boys. I mean, I see it in every movie I watch now that's an action film. I watched X-Men First Class on the treadmill. Mindless, join the military brainwashing, targeting young people, all sorts of programming in it. And in it, the good guys torture the woman to get the answers, and it's good that they torture her and they get the answers. And it's in every movie, torture gets results. No, it doesn't. It gets fake confessions. And if you've got a government torturing people, look out. The Nazis knew to hide it. Only in America would they come out and admit they're doing it. You get rid of those protections, it's all gone. Why do they want tyranny? People say, well, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong. Well, why do they want to come after me? They're bad. They want you to be their slave. Don't you get, it's called slavery. It's called tyranny. The globalists at the top want to dominate everything because they like to be in control. I saw an article in Reuters earlier. In fact, let me just pull it up right here. Squeezed Britons avoid hotel and car trips. There's such massive taxes on cars, tracker chips, taxes, gas taxes, VAT, hotels, that they're just avoiding hotel and car trips. And they say because they're angry about all of it. No, it's because they're being bankrupted. And the media will act like, oh, how do we fix this? And they'll have some government program where they cut some little small tax to act like they want to incentivize it. You think the TSA is upset we lose $40 billion a year in tourism? You think the TSA is upset that tourism's shutting down in this country? They love it. It's called a post-industrial world. They want to get rid of all the middle-class wealth. They want to get rid of even the higher-level Fortune 500, to where there's only the Fortune 100. They're waging war against the free market and wealth because wealth makes you free and uppity. You know, I've got articles here, and I'm looking for the clip because I heard it on 590 radio this morning, the speech of the San Antonio bishop. And I've got the letter here. Archdiocese of San Antonio, all 33 Roman Catholic bishops released on Monday a strongly worded letter to immigrants saying illegal immigrants deserve to be Americans and calling for denunciation of the forces which oppress them. Now, this is sedition within the country. And I actually heard the speech of the San Antonio bishop saying that Catholics that didn't support open borders and total amnesty were bad Catholics. And they got some of that language in the letter. And saying legalize everyone. There's no such thing as an immigrant. That is, or a migrant. That is, and that Jesus was a migrant, and that you've got to do. It's pure Ford Foundation liberation theology. Let me explain to folks how the real world works here. I've walked into gas stations here and stores, and I've had Hispanic people behind the counter say, Alex, I've always liked your show, but you're supporting what Arizona's doing. They're going to arrest all the Hispanics in America, and they hate us and all this stuff. And I look at them and I say, that may be the case with some black people or white people, but a very small percentage. I look at them and I say, do you understand that the people looting the banks, going after our guns, private property, do you understand that they are for open borders? Do you understand the UN is? You understand the UN murders people all over the world. You understand the UN is pushing with taxpayer money to inoculate every Hispanic child in Mexico, starting with girls. Do you know it's been linked to cancer and infertility? And they go, oh, and I go, yeah. The people patting you on the head and telling you that they care about you and that they want to take good care of you and that, oh my gosh, America's evil, let's have open borders. They're not telling you about the Gardasil shot, are they? You know about that? And they're like, yeah, I actually did hear about people dying from that. Yeah, that's right. Oh, but you're not going to hear LULAC or La Raza, which means the race. Let me go one further. Can I have an organization called the white race? Why can you have an organization called the race? Oh, I know, because you're downtrodden. Listen, I don't care what color you are. But let me ask you this next question. This is, and there'll be people backing up behind me. Let me ask you this next question, because you said that kind of accusatorily. Okay? Let me ask you another question here. You know the illegal aliens. Oh, I know you don't like that term, but that's what it's called in Mexico if I go down there, who has some of the most draconian immigration laws. They start laughing. Well, that's true, yeah. Oh, yeah, you know about that. Good. Well, let's go one further. It's hypocritical, but let's go even further. Let's expand on that. You know how 90+% of these illegals end up voting illegally. And once they become citizens, you know, because they think the Democratic Party's their friend. And by then it's like, hey, come on, buddy. I'm like, hold on. I'm sorry. Or go ahead and start paying here, but I'm going to talk to him. You know, by then I'm usually being interrupted. I mean, I've probably done this 50 times with just on the streets, in malls, in Los Angeles, you name it. Let me go one even further for you. Hey, let me expand on this for you. How did 90+% of them vote? Hardcore liberal Democratic. Total gun ban. Total private property ban. Now, I am 100% just on that issue have to be against the giant Latin American surge into this country. Because of the minds and the hearts the big banks have taught for decades in Latin America. And through the Ford Foundation, with billions of dollars a year on record. Billions a year. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all of it. But Ford Foundation alone, billions a year. They got something like $50 billion in their foundation. Invested in things, tax-free, and they use it against this country. The Ford Foundation is all down there, all over Latin America, saying America is yours, the U.S. is yours, you're going to take it, you're going to take it over, and communism is the answer to the evil of America. When the mega banks want communism to destroy the middle class, they want to make the United States just like Nigeria, just like Romania, just like Mexico. And they've got people so feeling like they've been persecuted and treated wrong that all over the United States you can't wear American flags in public schools. You are sent home because that's an offensive symbol. MSNBC, Associated Press, pull it up. Texas, Arizona, California. American flags on businesses are pulled down. American flags on government buildings, on post offices are pulled down, and the Mexican flag is run up. I mean, you would be beaten to death if you did that in Mexico. Because, again, even U.S. schools came out in Texas, all over the state. They pledge allegiance to the Mexican flag every day. They even tell other Latin American kids, well, it doesn't matter if you're from other Latin American countries, you have to pledge allegiance. Mexico is so nationalistic, and America's been taught our nationalism is bad, that they tell people from Puerto Rico, from Venezuela, from Brazil I've talked to, you are a Mexican now, and you're going to pledge allegiance to the Mexican flag. I mean, it's cuckoo. You don't wear American flags at this school, and you pledge allegiance to the Mexican flag. I mean, just type in, school pledges allegiance to the Mexican flag. Folks, they were doing that when I was going to Anderson High. This is what goes on in this country. I was in art class, and the Ford Foundation white art teacher taught me America was evil, white people were evil, and Texas was Mexico, and we were taken to UT to be brainwashed at the art center by a La Reconquista guy that America was evil. And I was like, Santa Anna was a dictator. There were 6 flags over, there were all these flags over Texas. Mexico couldn't hold this area. Mexico lost Guatemala because they couldn't hold it. What is Mexico? It was a Spanish deal. Don't sit there and say that, oh, this belonged to Mexico. There was nothing here. Mexico couldn't kick out all the Indians, who, by the way, they were hunting down and exterminating. That was the way of the old world. And so they called in the Tennesseans, who were known to go head up to 3 to 1 if they had to. That's the stuff they don't. All the Westerns are set in the 1800. I mean, in 1770, 1780 or so out west. That was nothing. I'm talking about wars with 20,000 Tennesseans against 100,000 natives. I'm talking about whole cities burned, tens of thousands dead, mass wars that you don't even know about in your history. And Mexico said, we can't hold this. Come in here. And then they said, by the way, now that you've kicked all the Indians out, we want your guns and we're kicking you out. And they said, you know what? We just told King George 50-something years ago, 60 years ago to take a hike. My granddaddy kicked George III's butt. Come and take it. You want some of this? You're going to get it. And they don't tell you that a Hispanic wrote the Constitution. They don't tell you about 45% of the fighters were Hispanic, or a third of the signers. They steal your heritage as a Texan. They steal your heritage of liberty. They play everybody off against each other. They make it all about how it's race in this country. I mean, if I was a Hispanic from Texas, I would be proud. And let me tell you, there's 6,700,000,000 people that want to come here. And when they get here, the Democrats and Republicans put them on welfare. They get left alone by the police because there's an incentive. Now, once you're a citizen, they throw the book at you. Being a citizen in the U.S. is known as being a moron. But the point is that we could probably take 30 million illegals here. Even though they've driven down the wages and all the rest of it, I'd say, okay, if you start buying machine guns and getting into freedom and talking bad about the New World Order and defeating the New World Order, I'd say, you know what, 30 million, it's going to drive the wages down and hurt a lot of stuff, but it'll work. No. In the SPP North American Union documents, the immigrant plan is the plan to bring us down and to outvote people that want liberty. I don't care what color your skin is or what color your hair is, okay? The point is, it's what's in your mind, and this is a New World Order program, and now they got the Catholic Church here involved in our internal operations and involved in sedition. And the Catholic Church is involved in sedition in our country, and it's a foreign power. And I draw the line here. We'll be right back. Stay with us. You know, you notice that when some Baptist church calls for an anti-gun bill to be struck down at a state level, the feds swoop in and threaten to take their 501c3. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And the government has taken that and twisted it to say that churches don't have free speech. Churches do have total free speech. But you see, it's turned around now. By the modern interpretation of this, you have the 30 plus of the 33 of the Hispanic Roman Catholic bishops, totally racial, saying that you've got to legalize all the illegals. Okay, legalize this 30 million. And then I guess the next 30 million, and the next 30 million, and the next 30 million. And when they get here, the government is there trying to put them on welfare. The country is going a provocation. They're looking for the middle way. They're allowing the West to bomb them, blow stuff up, destabilize them, put sanctions on them to shut them down. China has said they'll come to their aid. China has said prepare for war with the United States. That's back in the news. Their president has said that, not just some general, because it's cutting off their oil, but that's a double game. They'll probably abandon them in the final equation. Iran thinks that it can just threaten to block the strait or do it if the covert bombings continue, and the West is just going to hype that up. The West may even attack them because they're not being someone. All right, I'm starting to preach here, and I've just got so much news I want to get to. Here's what I want to do. I want to open the phones up about all the things happening in the world, the Iranians threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, which is giving the spy plane back. If Iran fires back when the West bombs them in a major air assault, it will be called terrorism to fire back. Again, it's bad when other governments torture, good when ours does it. It's all part of this mentally focused, helping them, trying to save them. And so it actually becomes just a blur, and they can focus and do things that are horrible, but to the eyes and to the nose and to the psyche. But it's good in the final equation because you're helping.